So we're gonna start off with this one here. My upline Rachel, I was inspired by her card that she shared with me, this one. And I made this alternate compared to that one. I wanted to come up with a different alternative for you guys. So that was this one. So I'll show you how to make this card right now. So we're gonna take this piece of Poppy Parade cardstock, and what we do is we take that cardstock and we cut it in half lengthwise, so we get a piece that will be 4 1/4 by 11 when we're finished, and then we score it in the middle at 5 1/2. And then what we do is we cut away from 2 1/8 over to the 5 1/2 mark, or 4 1/4 mark, and then that gives us this front flap here. So then we have a second piece that is going to be the inside layer of the card, and that is 4 by 5 1/4. So we're just gonna set that off to the side for a minute. We also have this layer, and for this layer, you don't have to do this, but I embossed this layer. So this actually kind of, like, when you feel it, it's now kind of bumpy when I ran it through the embossing folder. And so I'm just gonna mount that on the front of my card. So I'm gonna add some tape runner here. You could add glue, or you could do, any kind of adhesive that you want to use. You're just gonna center it. Yeah. Okay, so you just stick it on there like that. So with the strawberry punch, when you're punching out, you always want to think about where are the pieces organized when you punch, so that you're wasting the minimum amount of paper possible. But you can kind of use it as a guide, so you can see where the berry is going to fall, where the stem and leaves, and then the flower, and then the big leaf. So you can kind of get an idea to eyeball how you'd want to stamp it out if you want to make strips. And the strips allow you to just punch that one thing that you want to punch. The point of doing this is you can save paper in a different way, and you can stamp multiple images at a time and then punch them out in strips as you go through the punch. You want to be sure that you don't stamp your berries too close together, because if you do, you'll end up punching leaves or flowers out of the berry. So you just have to really kind of like play around with it and think through that process. But what I did is, these are like, let's see, like they're almost 2-inch strips. So I did 2-inch strips for the berries. So I have pre-cut the berries just to save us time here in the video. But here are the berries after I stamped them, along with some stems. And on one of the cards, I'll show you how I do these stamps too, but I just wanted to save time on this first one. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put our berries together. So I'm gonna like kind of angle my stem on my berry like that. Just I'm gonna start with putting one in the middle first. So gonna put a little bit of glue on the leaf, and then I'm gonna stick it in behind the berry, like that. So it's, it looks like it's kind of laying down on the leaf. And then start that one by putting that in the middle. So I'm gonna put a little more glue on the back of this. Okay, so there's our berries on the top of our card. I think that looks really juicy and sweet, like berries are. And I'm not gonna stamp any, I'm gonna just put a little bit of glue on the corner of each corner, and then I'm gonna stick it down inside the card. And I cut it so that it leaves about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. So I'm just gonna press that down. I took this pale papaya ribbon, and what I did with it is I used my Stampin' Blend marker and I colored the pale papaya with, this is the Poppy Parade Dark, and I colored that ribbon so that we could get the same color. So I think it turned out really good, and I love how it just soaked in that color, and it looks like it was meant to be. So this is what we originally started with, and this is what we have now. And then the next step is I'm going to use this punch. It's called the postage stamp punch. And I'm going to punch out a piece of white. Stick this down to my block, and then I'm going to get my Poppy Parade ink. I'm going to ink up my sentiment. And you can see, since these are clear stamps, you can see through if you get the ink on correctly. Okay, so there we go with our sentiment. And then for the flower, like the flower, I stamped that in the color we call Pale Papaya. It's a really light yellow. I'm just gonna ink up the little flower. I'm gonna stamp that on scrap as well. Now I'm thinking about where I'm putting this in my punch. So I'm gonna like go here with it on the end of my scrap. Okay, so there's my flower. And I'm gonna punch it out. And you can kind of squeeze down on your punch and adjust it and pop it like that. These are the Holiday Rhinestone Basic Jewels, and I took the yellow one and added that in the middle of the flower. going to put some dimensionals now on the back of the sentiment. And I'm going to center it on the front of my card. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing how I made this card today. Be sure and give it a like or a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.